Ramaphosa did not betray the revolution. He was never part of the radical revolution to begin with. He represented a negotiated freedom, an elite black class, and a political power without transformation. My name is Alokwan, and these are the news that matter the most. Now, Cyril Ramaphosa did not fight apartheid the way Mandela, Walter Sisulu, and Jacob Zuma and Lekota Mbeki did. He was not an armed combatant. He was not imprisoned on Robben Island. He was not in long-term exile, and he was not tortured for decades. Instead, Cyril Ramaphosa chose a legal labor-based struggle. He became a lawyer, a union negotiator, a deal maker, and now to black consciousness thinkers, this already smelled like moderation over liberation. Now, Ramaphosa rose through the National Union of Mine Workers, known as the NUM, and the NUM negotiated directly with Anglo-American, with Harry Oppenheimer, and with the mining establishment. That's where Cyril Ramaphosa learned how mining capital works, how contracts are structured, how white monopoly capital thinks, and how to negotiate peace instead of rupture. And Cyril Ramaphosa ended up being a bridge between black leadership and white capital. Now, Cyril Ramaphosa was useful to the system, he was manageable, he was rational and not radical, and he did not advocate economic seizures or land expropriation without compensation. And in 1994, when Mandela came out of Robben Island, the apartheid regime did not want chaos, and capital did not want nationalism, and the West did not want socialism. But they needed a black negotiator they could trust, and according to white monopoly capital, Cyril Ramaphosa was the perfect choice. He was fluent in law, fluent in business, fluent in compromise, and fluent in white boardrooms. Therefore, Cyril Ramaphosa became the chief negotiator of CODESA, the face of peaceful transition. And Cyril Ramaphosa ended up saving white capital and not black people. And I must put it out there that Cyril Ramaphosa was not an apartheid official and he did not sign apartheid laws. But he negotiated with apartheid power, he reassured capital markets, he helped design a settlement that protected property rights. And just like that, political freedom was won, but economic power was protected. And as a reward for protecting economic power, Ramaphosa was rewarded through BEE, mining shares, McDonald's SA, Shanduka Group, and board positions given to him by the same capital he negotiated with. Ramaphosa did not overthrow white monopoly, he partnered with it. And the reason why Ramaphosa was chosen, it's because of Mandela was too principled, too symbolic, and refused to enrich himself, and he believed in leadership and not accumulation. While Jacob Zuma was charismatic but reckless, not trusted by capital, too unpredictable, and preferred patronage over boardrooms. And Lekota, ideological, hardliner, and not business friendly. But when they considered Ramaphosa, they could see that he was calm, corporate, predictable, and safe. And you can take a look at the Marikana, it will confirm everything. Now Ramaphosa, as a former union leader, he ended up calling striking workers criminals. The union men ended up being the capitalist protector. What are your thoughts?